welcome to another episode of Be Free with Jodie B, where on this lovely sunny day, we're being joined by one of my Be Free coaching clients, Gemma. Now, Gemma started with me back in April 2024, and she has just finished her journey this week. So I want to welcome you to sit down, have a chat with us. We're going to talk about Gem's results, her progress, and just what she thought of working with myself and the program in general. So whether you're watching this on YouTube or you're listening to us on Spotify, thank you for joining. Don't forget to give both a like and a subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes, and it also helps me increase the channel's engagement so I can help more people. Okay, so today we are being joined by the lovely Gemma, who has been a client for around 14, 15 months. And Gem and I actually connected because we are friends, and we met back when I was living in Cardiff, and now neither of us live there. So I thought, Gem, that we could start with you just sharing a little bit more about you in general, and then we can have a chat about like the programs and progress and things like that. So just give us a little bit about you.
Yep, so I'm Gemma. I obviously met Jodie in Cardiff when I was studying uni there. I'm a dental hygienist now based in the southeast of the UK, and I just wanted to fall back in love with food again, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that was one of the main things for you, wasn't it? Was that kind of
Mm.
like relationship with food and kind of being scared of eating certain things and things like that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about, because gosh, we're thinking back to last April, I think it was, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
cast your mind back if you can, all the way to like last April. Could you like give, obviously not just me, but everybody watching and listening this, like a little background as to like how you were feeling back then, like physically, mentally, just to kind of,
Yeah.
see where you were when you started?
Yeah. So back then, it hadn't been long since I moved from Cornwall up to my boyfriend's in East Sussex. Hadn't really got into the gym. I was sort of struggling with what to eat. So I was quite unfit, let's face it. Like, I'd say I wasn't eating much though, which was the problem. So, like,
Mm,
previously when I'd been at home with my mum after uni, we'd both been doing like these diet shakes and all, which were like, what, 200 calories, and they're meant to be meal replacements. So I was having like 200 calories for lunch, 200 calories for breakfast, and then a very small dinner. And I remember
mm,
when Jodie first asked me to like put all my food that I was eating just on a regular basis into my fitness pal, she was like, wow, that's like half of what a toddler should be eating. I was like,
mm.
oh dear. So my energy levels were generally quite low, even though I felt like I was eating too much, but obviously I wasn't eating enough.
Yeah,
And there's a few times I felt quite faint, but at the same time, I just felt like I needed to lose weight. Just generally, in myself, I felt like I needed to lose weight. I wasn't really exercising, but at the same time, I wasn't eating enough to then stop, like reduce how much I was eating. If that makes sense.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I know a few people, obviously, they obviously want to lose weight because they do eat a lot. But my problem was I wanted to lose weight, but I wasn't eating much in the first.
enough. Yeah.
And growing up, I was always quite a big foodie. I loved baking, I loved cooking, and that was fine up until maybe sort of GCSEs A levels, which is most, I suppose, the time when most sort of people, especially girls, tend to sort of be hit by the diet culture. And
Mm,
especially when my mum was like, oh, okay, I'm going to start doing this diet, you can do it with me. So that just sort of got to, yeah, it was a bit like, oh, okay, I'm not allowed to like food anymore. I've got to eat for how I'm meant to sort of look. And it just sort of went a bit out of control.
mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we obviously we've known each other for quite a while, but when we kind of like connected back then, what do you think it was that kind of like made you want to, sign up to the Be Free coaching program and like try something new? Like, was it something that you feel like happened, or was it the way you were feeling? Like, what was that like drive, do you think?
I think the main thing was my plan to go traveling. So I've got my first trip booked in like this coming autumn, and obviously
Exciting.
there's so many foods that I want to try while I'm out there, and I didn't want to go out there and be like, oh no, I can't try this dessert or I can't try this meal because I need to like I don't want to eat because of how I look sort of thing.
Mm,
And then I was worried like if I did end up eating a load, I would just feel crap about myself and not enjoy the experience. Plus then I was sort of coming home from work and because I wasn't eating much, I wasn't putting enough energy into my body. So I'd come home from work and I would just feel so flat, tired. I wouldn't have any energy to go to the gym or go for a walk. And I thought, I can't be going traveling, living like this. I need to sort of sort it out.
mm.
And that's when I reached out to Judy.
Yeah, I know that you touched on there about kind of like the drinks and your mum kind of having quite an influence on certain opinions and things like that. And
Yeah.
obviously, like we love our mums, yeah. But I do remember that I think those kind of like patterns and behaviors on like a mental side of things came up throughout our journey together a
Mm,
few times, didn't it? Based
definitely.
on, do you think that was based on like the world that she kind of grew up in and diet culture was kind of accidentally maybe like,
Yeah, probably. And I think as well, um, I feel like her mum, my nan, is quite blunt when it comes to pointing things out. So,
yeah.
say for example, like my mum might be like, "Oh, I don't like my arms," or "I feel like I feel really bloated. I need to lose weight," and my nan would be like, "Yeah, you do." And it was sort of like it was
Oh my
almost like my
God.
mum. My mum was then looking at her mum like, "Oh, okay." Like I
Oh my
suppose you
God.
do
So it's kind
generally
of
look up to
been
your mum. Like
passed down a little bit.
yeah, you sort of
Yeah.
generally look up to your mum like, "Oh, she's my mum. I just need to like follow her lead," sort of thing. And then even being adults, my mum probably did the same with my nan. And it was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay." Like my mum notices it, so I obviously need to do it. But I must say, my
Mm.
mum isn't like that. She was.
Yeah.
It was more my nan, but I think that then got into mum's head like, "Oh, okay, I definitely need to lose weight," and I don't want my
Mm.
daughters feeling the same way that I do as my mum, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So then she just sort of like carried me along with her. Like at one point it was the keto diet and I wasn't allowed sandwiches, I wasn't allowed pasta. I say allowed. She encouraged me not to have sandwiches. If I did pick up a piece of bread, she'd give me a look. And even like
Mm.
during this program, it took me ages to just make a sandwich. And you were like, "Oh, take your own lunch to work." I was like, I can't have a sandwich." And she was like, "Well, what do you mean you can't have a sandwich?" And it was
Yeah.
just ingrained to my head that having a sandwich is unhealthy. So just little
Yeah.
things like that was quite difficult to break those little cycles. And then even going to like, I know before we talked about like obviously calories going in and out of your body, and obviously walking being the main one of the main ones exercise wise.
Yeah.
Um, and actually going to the gym itself generally doesn't burn as many calories as just the amount of walking you do throughout the day. And I would tell my mum that she's like, "Oh, have you been to the gym?" I was like, "No." And then I would sort of be like looked down at for that. And I did manage to sort of sit down and have a conversation with her after a few months and being like, "No," and just sort of explained it all to her. And yeah, it definitely helped sort of being having the knowledge and being taught everything I need to know and then passing it
Yeah.
on to her.
This is the thing though, isn't it? That you kind of like started, with mum having more of an influence and kind of listening to like what she was saying and things, and turned that from learning like the knowledge more about nutrition and things like that, and then actually kind of like, sharing that with her,
Yeah.
which I think was incredible because I know at the time that probably wouldn't have been like an easy discussion for
Mm,
you, especially when it's like a close family member. It can be quite hard, especially when they've been installed in her mind. But then for you to be like, actually, mum, I've learned X, Y, and Z. Do you know what I mean? Like that
yeah.
was like a big moment, I think,
Mm.
wasn't it?
Yeah, especially when it comes to like hitting a calorie goal, because obviously at first you were like, "Oh, okay, you've got to eat this amount of calories," and I was like, "Oh gosh, that's a lot of calories. I've not eaten that much food in God knows how long."
Yeah.
Then just sort of, and then like say, obviously being around my mum, she was like, "Gosh, you're eating again." I was like, "Well, yes, I need to eat, mum. This is my goal. I need to eat."
Yeah, it's like a conflicting thing, wasn't it? Because obviously, like your mum's your mum, but then you've got, the expertise
Mm,
from me as your coach being like, Jem, we need to get more food in you. And like you say, that was because of so many different things, but energy was definitely one of them.
yeah,
And that's definitely something that has like increased. And I think that's why it's important to talk about the journey and like the challenges as well as the wins and stuff, because
yeah,
it is a journey. That's exactly what it is. But yeah, you've obviously like learned so much. And now I'm so glad you brought up about the traveling thing, because I was literally thinking the other day when we were speaking the other day, like, oh my God, like now you can actually go and with confidence without all these worries, like actually just like enjoy and try different
Yeah.
food and stuff, which don't think we'd have been having the same conversation this time last year.
No, definitely not.
But do you know another thing actually that stuck out to me? Because obviously we've been working together for quite a long time, was the first time that you shared in the group with the community that you'd been to a cafe and not had like those over,
Mm,
overthinking kind of thoughts and stuff, and you'd just chosen something you fancied. And I just felt like that was such a massive win. Do you remember that as
yeah,
well as
I
I
do.
do? Yeah.
I
Do you
remember
remember what
another
you had?
time. Oh, what was it? It was probably something like, um,
I feel like it was a panini or something.
yeah, it was probably a panini or something like that. Again, bread and
Bread, the
bread.
demon word that is not a
Yeah,
demon at all that you
and
need in life.
it was probably drink wise, it was probably a mocha as well. So that's basically like a hot chocolate and bread. It's like, oh gosh, no, I'd
Yeah.
only have one or the other beforehand. And I know another time around that sort of period, I went to a coffee shop with my mum. And before it was like, oh, should we share a piece of cake? And I was like, no, I'm going to have my own piece of cake. Thank you very
That's so amazing. It's just so mad to reflect back and think, because I honestly remember the amount of food you were eating when you started. Like it was
much.
so little. So eating now and just like thriving with your food and stuff. I just think I just think it's
Yeah.
incredible. Okay, so started in April last year. Obviously, we've been on this, I think, transformational journey, particularly with like your mindset and relationship with
Mm.
food and things like that. Is there anything that kind of like stuck out to you that you found like particularly like useful or like, in terms of anything with me or the community? Because obviously you've had the experience of seeing and kind of engaging with different people as well. Because obviously,
Mm.
like people have kind of like come in and out the coaching and things like that, and you've been like here the whole time. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
like, is there anything that like stuck out to you that you like really enjoyed?
I think just the community in general, and
Mm.
everyone's obviously going through the same thing. Everyone's been through the same like problems and thoughts, that sort of thing. So if we're on like a group call and like I feel really like awkward to ask a question, I'm like, oh no, it's a really silly question, but I'm gonna ask it, and she might see it, she might not. And everyone else, like, oh my God, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. It's like, oh, okay, it's not just me. Great, everyone else
No.
has done it, or if they have already had that problem, they then give you advice as well. So it's nice to sort of be there and be with each other's like journeys throughout. And like you said, I've seen some people sort of come and go. There was a few girls that were on it most of the time with me, and then they left, and it was even then it was amazing seeing their transformations, and it just gives you a lot more motivation to sort of, I don't want to say sort yourself out, but to have faith in yourself and do
Prioritize
it
you.
properly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. And I've always said, haven't I? And I will continue to say it. Like I mean, I love answering questions anyway. I love it. But for me, there is never a silly question or a
Mm.
silly like anything. Like I would much rather you ask like 100 questions a day and me actually tell you like no,
Yeah.
this is the truth, this is what you need to do, because there's so much conflict, and I see it worse now I think than last year. There's
Oh,
so
it's
much
definitely
online
gotten
and
worse.
I read it and just think, oh my God, like,
Mm.
and it just, yeah, it's just I think very confusing to someone who
Yeah.
hasn't maybe had the experience of working with a coach like myself. Like if it's difficult. So I loved watching you come out of your shell because I think to begin with, maybe a bit more kind of like reserved and timid and things, but I loved that you were like getting involved and asking the questions and stuff because that's how I can help you.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, okay, so it's just so nice to reflect, honestly. I'm like literally loving this conversation. What would you say that like might be like a difficult question to answer, but like if you could like describe the program in 3 words,
Okay.
how would you describe it? I know it's a hard question. Actually, I've not asked this before. Maybe it's because you're my friend.
Um, Oh, mm, oh God. Uh,
Don't overthink it.
I'd say probably at the very beginning, especially thought-provoking,
Mm,
because you sort of, I suppose you sort of go against everything you've been taught originally. I say
no,
taught,
yeah.
but everything you were believing in. Again, like most people think you have to eat less to lose weight, but in my case, I had to eat a lot more before I could lose weight.
Mm,
So a lot of it was sort of like busting myths and very like, oh gosh, let me rethink, like rewiring your entire brain basically for it to work.
mm,
Definitely rewarding and fun as well.
yeah.
Everyone has so much fun together, even in the group chats and on the group calls. I never managed to go to one of the actual meetups, but it looked like you all had an amazing time. And yeah, everyone, you obviously have your own challenges, and everyone has their challenges as a group as well. Everyone shares their own ideas, recipes, that sort of thing. And yeah, it's
Mm.
just fun, really fun.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I'm so glad I asked that question. Oh, that's really lovely to hear. That's so nice. And I think obviously there were a few meetups and things, but I think it was distance for
Mm,
you, wasn't it?
yeah,
You know, where you are, bless you, like you're way down there. So no, yeah, I get it. Maybe one day in the future we can, we can meet
yeah,
up.
that'd be
But
nice.
yeah. Also I just wanted to like kind of talk about I know that you went to London not long ago as well. And can you just talk about like that experience of being able to just meet up with your sister and go and
Mm,
grab like whatever? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
do you have like any, was that just a calm, confident kind of motion? Because I'm again just thinking back to when we started that would not have been like a thing that you felt
No,
comfortable with
definitely
at all.
not. I think, yeah, obviously this program obviously helps you sort of learn about your own body and what your own body needs. Obviously, everybody is different, but
Mm,
you just learn to listen to your body, and obviously throughout it, your body then needs a certain amount of calories. So throughout, if I knew something was happening on the weekend, during the week I'd probably eat slightly less. So I was sort of banking the calories. So I knew I had a bit
yeah,
more leeway on the weekend, which definitely helped. And that's
yeah.
something I'll definitely be obviously taking one of the main things I'll probably be taking away from it as well. And
Mm,
probably sharing with other people that always feel really guilty when they try and socialize. But yeah, it was just felt really freeing, I suppose, going out
yeah.
with my sister and just enjoying everything that we used to enjoy together. Whereas before it would have been like, oh no, you can have that and I'll just pick it yours. No, it was
Yeah.
really nice. And even like this is a proper British thing to say, especially someone coming up, but drinking, like going to the pub on the weekend. It's
Yeah.
like, oh no, I have to have a like I would avoid ciders, for example, because I knew how much sugar and how many calories were in them. But now that I know how much sort of how many calories are in different drinks, I can sort of almost not plan ahead, but I don't feel guilty for drinking what I want to drink.
Yeah.
And again, whereas before I was like, oh no, I can't have that. I'll just have to have a Diet Coke because there's calories and all sorts of alcohol, especially in this and this and this.
Mm.
And but yeah, it's yeah, just freeing, especially going to London, obviously.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, calorie banking is such a great tool that a lot of
Mm,
people aren't kind of aware of, or they don't really know how to do it, like not properly, but
mm,
kind of like navigate that. So that's really good. So that's good to hear that you can take that forward for weekends and stuff. But obviously, I doubt that's something you'll be doing when you go like traveling. Like that'll
no.
just that'll just be you like absolutely living your best life. Um, are there any like, because I know that you've obviously made different like recipes and stuff like throughout the journey. I
Mm,
know that like muffins and things like that were kind of like a an easy kind of like thing
yeah.
to grab on your way to work or something. Do you
Mm.
have like a favorite recipe or something that you made, I don't know, like quite a lot and really enjoyed, or was it like the
Mm,
variety that you liked?
I think one thing that I really liked actually, which I hadn't even thought of before, was your sausage rolls. But I
Yeah.
know. Because another thing, obviously, the amount of calories that are probably in pastry, but you use a wrap. And at first,
Yeah.
oh God, that can't be nice, surely. But you've made that, especially if you're doing the chicken sausages as well. roll it up, put it in the air fryer, and they just taste so good, especially on like a Sunday or something like that. And my boyfriend eats them as well, which is brilliant. So like I can still have my sausage rolls, and I don't feel like, oh God, I can't have that. Again, I would have a sausage roll if I went out, but it, yeah, you can still enjoy it even sticking to your calories, especially if you're sort of having a certain amount of calories for lunch, or even like you can have it as a snack as well, those sort of ones. And I think as well, actually, a lot of the recipes for like the snacks definitely helped, like
Mm.
especially in the summer with like the smoothies, because I've done
Protein and
from
stuff,
work,
wasn't it? And it's
yeah,
getting your
protein,
protein in.
they're nice
Mm.
and refreshing. And one thing I think I tried it last year actually was I made a smoothie and I put it in like ice lolly makers,
Mm.
molds, and then put them in the freezer, and then I'd have them if I was feeling hot in the summer or something.
That's so funny that you've said that because I've just bought some, those like molds, like literally like ice
Mm.
lolly molds. I think they're watermelons, I think. I've got them in the kitchen and I was literally, that was going to be one of my recipes this week if the sun stays out. Because if it doesn't, it
Yeah,
just seems a bit like maybe I'll wait for that one.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, that's I think like things like the sausage rolls and things as well is obviously like you say having something that you're going to enjoy that you'll feel like you're having a sausage roll but it's like you say like
Mm.
more nutritious so you're using the wrap instead of the pastry like you say chicken sausages lower in
Mm.
fat higher in protein and all that kind of thing but I actually haven't had one of them myself in ages so that's like that's really made me think like can I put that in this week yeah no I like that one I appreciate that. Okay, so with your like journey, and again, tough question, but how would you describe like the kind of um what's the word I'm looking for? Like the experience that you've had, how do you feel that it's like benefited you from, us working together and do the program? Like how does life seem, look different and feel different for
Mm.
you now compared to like back then?
I'm definitely a lot happier. Just
Mm,
like again with the energy thing, like I can come home
mm,
from work and I've still got energy to do things. I've still got energy to go to my fitness class, or I've still got energy to spend time with my boyfriend and go out and do things. Especially on like the weekends, we can go out for a long hike and I don't feel absolutely drained afterwards.
mm,
Happy that I can eat food again, even again, like going out and eating food and not feeling stupidly guilty about it. Because before I would eat something really nice and then the whole day after I would just be worried about how much I ate and what I
mm.
ate. But yeah, just generally enjoying life a lot more now, which
Yeah.
is crazy. Actually, if you think about it, just being on a nutrition course and having like your support, that sort of thing, how big of a change it can make, not just sort of size wise either, like actually physically and mentally. And it is pretty cool.
I think we never really, these conversations I feel are really great because we never really reflect on
Mm,
where we were before and actually how far we've come. And like you
yeah.
say, like not just physically, but like mentally as well. Like it sounds like, and I mean, I know this obviously, but for anybody watching and listening, like I think food was really kind of like controlling, wasn't it? And it was kind of
Mm,
like heavy on your thoughts, like quite a lot of the time. Like you say, like you'd have something and then the next day be consumed with like thoughts of maybe like guilt and shame. And it's that horrible
mm,
cycle, isn't it? So,
yeah.
like you say, the fact that you can, go out with your boyfriend and friends and your sister and it not be so like this like
Yeah.
heavy thought, I would like describe it because I've been there as well. So I get it. I do get
Yeah.
it. Oh, that's amazing to hear. That really, really is. Yeah, it's just been so incredible to be able to like um help and educate and just see like it's so lovely for me to just see where you are now compared to the first conversation we had. Like I just think the whole thing has just been incredible. And we've
Mm,
been like through it all together, even
yeah.
like getting your oh, excuse me, got a frog in my throat. Getting your like calories up towards the end and things just so
Mm,
you've got like that freedom and stuff is yeah, no, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's just nice to hear that it's um coming from because obviously like I I'm so incredibly proud of you, but it's amazing to hear properly how you feel about it and where you were now compared to like
Yeah,
um where you are now compared to where you were and stuff. So
yeah. I'm
yeah,
definitely
it's
proud of myself as well, which is
you never say that.
no, I
Say it
know.
louder.
I especially like this time last year when I first started, if I said to someone I was doing a nutrition program, again, they'd be like, well, you don't eat much anyway. Gosh, you're gonna have to eat like nothing if you're gonna want to do this.
Mm,
And again, in my head,
interesting,
I
isn't
was
it?
like, I'm never gonna be able to eat much if I want to lose weight. And now being like, wow, I can actually eat a lot compared to what I was eating, and I'm a lot healthier, and I just feel a lot happier and healthier as well, which
Yeah,
definitely was a bit, yeah, I was very happy to hear that I could do that now.
yeah. No, I think it's that, like you said, that energy to do more stuff as well, but also like the confidence. Like,
Mm.
obviously, you've had the confidence now to kind of go certain places, and obviously joining up to, um, oh my God, I've forgotten the word for it. What's it called? That new exercise thing that
Oh
you're
yeah,
doing.
I'm doing ladies combat. It's like
That's it,
martial arts
combat,
that
that's
sort of
it.
thing.
Yeah, so like having the confidence to kind of start something new and then really enjoying that and then having the
Mm.
energy to do that. So it's like pieces of a jigsaw in a way that's kind of
Yeah.
like all come together, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, amazing. What would you if say someone was like listening to this and maybe they have a weight loss goal, but maybe for them it's more like the relationship with food kind of thing. So obviously that's a massive part that's been huge for you, isn't it? So if someone was
Yeah.
like listening to this and they kind of feel a bit lost and like you thinking, well, how am I going to be able to, like lose weight or be healthier when I'm not really eating much at the
Mm.
moment? Like, what advice would you to give to someone who wasn't quite sure about like reaching out or anything like that?
Um, I I'd say it's whatever you think you can't do, it's definitely possible. And
Mm,
sometimes you just need to have someone to help you sort of rewire your brain and think of things in a different way. And even things like alternatives to certain food, like say, for example, you were making, I don't know, a yogurt bowl or something, and you were using regular flavored yogurt, you just change it to like Greek yogurt or low fat Greek yogurt. It's obviously less
mm,
calories and there's a lot more protein in it. And again, like a lot of things, it's a surprising amount of protein in them, which just makes you feel a lot more fuller for longer. So you can eat a lot more without sort of feeling, I don't know how to word it.
like overly full or anything like
Yeah,
that.
at first you will
Yeah.
feel overly full, but your body, it's surprising how much your body gets used to everything and it just adjusts to
Yeah.
the way you sort of treat it, really. And if you just treat your body properly, it will reward you in so many different ways. So yeah, it's again, when I started this, it wasn't a weight goal was kind of there, but again, it was more my relationship with food because I've always
100%.
loved my food. I've always loved making food,
Mm,
and this has definitely helped me a lot because a good what 5, 6, even 10 years maybe, I wasn't allowed to enjoy food, and now I've
it's mad.
allowed myself to sort of sort my head out and enjoy food as much as I want. And even passing that then on to, for example, my mum, she'd only either have breakfast or lunch. She wouldn't eat both, and now she's having breakfast and lunch and dinner.
I love that. You literally have kind of like now educating her based on
Yeah.
everything that like you've learned, which is incredible. And to hear you say as well, like 5, 6, maybe even 10 years, like that is such a long time.
Mm,
Such a long time, isn't it, to not be enjoying food where when it's there for enjoyment and to nourish you and all the rest of it. So
yeah,
no,
so it's
that's
never too late to start doing this because you're just going to miss out on so much if you don't do it,
mm,
in my
yeah.
mind anyway.
Yeah. And now you can go off traveling, feeling strong, confident, and just like really enjoy the experience as well, can't you? Which
Mm,
is amazing.
yeah, definitely.
Amazing. Oh, I've really enjoyed this chat, Jem. Thank you so much for like, you know, taking the time and also for just putting your trust in me from the very beginning. It's honestly been so humbling to just see and watch and help you grow. It's just been lovely. So
Oh,
I
thank
hope you've
you.
enjoyed it as much as me.
Yeah, I've had a very good time. Thank you so much. I think that's another thing, just trusting you. is,
Mm.
at first it's difficult, but you just have to trust the process and trust you, and it definitely is amazing. So thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, Jem. Thank you. So if you're listening to this or you're even watching this on YouTube and you felt like Jemma did, stuck with your food, wanting to rid yourself of restricting or maybe even binge eating and create a calm relationship with food whilst losing a bit of weight and gaining that confidence and energy, then message me the word podcast at Jodie B Nutrition on Instagram, or you can click on the link in my bio, fill in the quick 2-minute form, and I will get in touch with you. So thank you to everyone watching or listening, and I will see you on the next one, guys.